I defend Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. But he is the most overly feminized man I've had to endure in recent history.
I said that having read through Blake Lively's complaints, that it was evident to me that she was likely under the influence when she filed her complaint. Not under the influence of drugs, not under the influence of alcohol, but of the influence of proximity to Taylor Swift.
It all began on the set of It Ends With Us, where whispers of tension between star Blake Lively and director Char co-star Justin Baldoni eventually exploded into a public feud. In December 2024, Lively filed a bombshell complaint with the California Civil Rights Department, accusing Baldoni of creating a hostile work environment on set. She alleged SH, citing instances of invasive, unprofessional, and inappropriate behavior. Baldoni allegedly engaged in unwanted kissing during scenes, walked into her dressing room while she was partially undressed, made lewd comments about his life and porn, and mocked her age and weight. Just as alarming, Lively claimed Baldoni orchestrated a smear campaign against her after filming Wrapped, hiring a crisis PR firm to secretly weaponize a digital army online to destroy her reputation if she ever spoke up. Baldoni immediately denied all allegations as completely false, outrageous, and intentionally salacious, with his lawyer calling Lively's claims a desperate bid to fix her negative reputation. This initial salvo set the stage for a fierce legal war, as Hollywood braced for the drama to come. Lively's allegations did not stay private for long. On December 21, 2024, the New York Times dropped a bombshell investigation titled "We Can Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine," which detailed how PR operatives allegedly set out to destroy Lively's reputation. After she complained about Baldoni's on-set conduct, the article lent credence to Lively's claims by reporting that a coordinated effort was made to bury her with negative online content once her H accusations were known.
And that's part of the point that Justin's team is making in kind of complying with what they're viewing as threats made on her behalf against Justin, is like, well, there's this financial consequence to everything in addition to the strike consequences too, right? So they filmed May to June, then shut down for the strike, and then they were down until January. But I think that the strike lifted in November, but then she had all these return to work provisions.
The fallout was swift that same day. Baldoni's talent agency WME, which also represents Lively, dropped him as a client. In the days that followed, Hollywood figures rallied around Lively. Her sisterhood of the Traveling Pants co-stars, America Ferrera, Amber Tamblyn, and Alexis Bledel, issued a joint statement supporting Lively as she fights back against the campaign waged to destroy her reputation. Best-selling author Colleen Hoover, whose novel the film was based on, praised Lively as nothing but honest, kind, supportive, and patient, openly siding with the actress, even actresses like Gwyneth Paltrow and Amber Heard, herself no stranger to contentious court battles, voiced solidarity. The initial tide of public opinion painted Baldoni as a villain and Lively as a wronged whistleblower, creating serious backlash for Baldoni's reputation in the industry. As the court of public opinion raged, both parties took their fight into actual courts with dueling lawsuits. On December 31, 2024, Baldoni struck back by suing the New York Times for $250 million, accusing the paper of defamation for uncritically taking Lively's side in the expose. His lawsuit claimed the Times had used cherry-picked and altered communications stripped of context to mislead readers. To prove it, Baldoni included snippets of private exchanges. For example, he refuted Lively's claim that he barged into her trailer by producing a text message where Lively herself invited him in while she was breastfeeding.
Justin says that Blake was determined to make him the real-life villain in her story because she wasn't doing well on the promo tour for the movie. It was very tone deaf. Her hair care line wasn't doing well. She was trying to sell booze while talking about domestic violence. Justin says the war between himself and Blake really started in May 2023 when they started shooting the movie. He claims that she was organizing a takeover strategy.
"I'm just pumping in my trailer if you want to work out our lines," she wrote. Baldoni replied he'd head over shortly. Baldoni also alleged that Lively's team had in fact planted negative stories about him, accusing her publicist, Judy Sloan, of feeding the press a false rumor about multiple HR complaints on set. Sloan flatly denied this to People, calling the claim false. That same day, Lively escalated matters by filing a lawsuit against Baldoni and his production company Wayfarer Studios in New York federal court, formally accusing him of SH and retaliation, the alleged smear campaign. It quickly became clear this conflict was far more than a he said, she said. It was now all-out legal warfare with multiple fronts. By mid-January 2025, Baldoni answered with a blistering countersuit seeking $400 million in damages, targeting Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and her PR representatives for defamation. In this filing, Baldoni painted Lively as the aggressor behind the scenes. He claimed Lively had never even read the It Ends With Us novel and made wrong-headed creative decisions due to a fundamental lack of understanding of the story. According to Baldoni, Lively grew increasingly controlling over the production, inserting herself into the process in intrusive ways, even threatening to boycott promotional events unless her preferred cut of the film was released. He alleged she used the movie's publicity tour not just to celebrate the film, but to promote her own side ventures, like her hair care and beverage brands, essentially hijacking the spotlight for personal gain. In one startling anecdote, Baldoni's suit says Lively mocked his appearance on set, joking that he should get plastic surgery on his nose. While filming a scene, Baldoni's two publicists, Melissa Abel and Jennifer Nathan, joined his defamation suit as co-plaintiffs, saying they are private individuals who received death threats after Lively named them in her H complaint. As part of the smear plot, Lively's legal team slammed Baldoni's counterclaims as a desperate attempt to attack a woman for speaking out.
In Blake's first amended complaint, Blake changed what she alleges about what happened while filming the slow dance scene, now that the footage has been released for everyone to see. So what they're saying is, now that, Justin Baldoni shared the truth of what it looks like, they're no longer making the same claims. Previously, they said Miss Lively was filming a slow dance scene for a montage in which no sound was recorded. Of course, Justin proved there was sound. Mr. Baldoni chose to let the camera roll and have them perform the scene, but did not act in character as Ryle. Instead, he spoke to Miss Lively out of character as himself,
vowing that his lawsuit will fail. Amid this flurry of legal actions, both sides began leaking evidence to bolster their narratives. In late January 2025, Baldoni's attorneys took the unusual step of releasing raw footage from the film set to the media, aiming to disprove Lively's H claims. The video, captured during a May 23, 2023 shooting of a romantic slow dance scene, shows Lively and Baldoni embracing and talking intimately between takes. At one point, Baldoni leans in and asks, "Am I getting beard on you?" And Lively chuckles that she's probably getting spray tan on him, to which Baldoni replies, "It smells good." Baldoni's camp argued this clip refutes Lively's account of an unsolicited, out-of-bounds kiss, saying both actors were simply in character, longing to be close to one another, and behaving with mutual respect and professionalism. But Lively's team fired back that the context actually vindicates her. In her lawsuit, Lively had described Baldoni leaning in during that scene and slowly dragging his lips from her ear down her neck while whispering, "It smells so good," which she protested as unplanned and inappropriate. Lively's lawyers pointed out that every frame of the leaked video shows Baldoni repeatedly trying to kiss or caress her without prior consent, talking with her out of character and touching her, forehead kisses, thumb on her lip, rubbing his face on her neck. All improvisation done with no intimacy coordinator present. Far from a nothing to see here moment, they argued, the footage corroborates her account to the letter.
Was what Blake says, a conversation that she heard had taken place with Steve Sarowitz. Steve Sarowitz is the head of Wayfarer Studios. He is the co-founder of Wayfarer Studios along with Justin. And she says in this lawsuit that, is it interesting? She says, "This is what I heard," he said, but it's presented as a quote in the lawsuit. She says that Steve said, "I will protect the studio like Israel protected itself from Hamas."
The dispute over this video only fueled the media frenzy. Lively's attorneys accused Baldoni's side of litigating in the press and even sought a court order to sanction his lawyer Brian Friedman for publicly leaking selective evidence in violation of ethics rules. Meanwhile, more private communications leaked out. In late January, the Daily Mail obtained a 7-minute voice memo Baldoni had sent to Lively, an audio message that intriguingly begins with him apologizing. In the recording, the date of which is unclear, Baldoni sounds remorseful and conciliatory, derogatory, telling Lively, "I'm really sorry. I for sure fell short, and you worked really hard on that scene. I f***ed up." He acknowledges her feelings, calls himself a very flawed man who will always apologize when he makes mistakes, and even praises Lively's supportive friends, Reynolds and megastar pal Taylor Swift, for empowering her. "Damn right you've got great friends. We should all have friends like that," Baldoni says earnestly in the memo, going on to compliment the revisions Lively made to an important scene and expressing, "I'm just excited to spend time with you on the project." This candid apology tape added another twist, suggesting that at one point Baldoni acknowledged upsetting Lively and was eager to make amends. Depending on whom you ask, the audio is either evidence of Baldoni's good faith, showing he tried to accommodate Lively's creative input, or evidence that Lively had valid complaints, which even he privately conceded. To press his case publicly, Baldoni also launched a dedicated website in early February, posting the full text of his newly amended court complaint and a detailed timeline of events from his perspective. This online dossier included screenshots of text messages and emails between Baldoni, Lively, and even Ryan Reynolds, aiming to show the pair once had a cordial working relationship before things soured.
That she became uncomfortable with Justin Baldoni yesterday while she was filming. She states that Mr. Baldoni put his bare hands on her backside and said that he was trying to help her with her posture. Complainant immediately voiced her displeasure with being touched on an intimate part of her body, and Mr. Baldoni responded with, "It's fine. I'm totally hot for my wife," in a dismissive tone.
But it also aired explosive new allegations. Baldoni's timeline revealed that Reynolds had fiercely intervened on his wife's behalf. In one instance, Reynolds allegedly told Baldoni's talent agent that Baldoni was a deranged predator and urged that Baldoni be barred from attending the film's premiere, saying, "No one wants him there." Baldoni's amended complaint even dragged the couple's other Hollywood ventures into the fray. In a startling claim, he accused Reynolds of using a character in his 2024 Deadpool and Wolverine film to mock and bully Baldoni on screen. Baldoni notes that Reynolds included a character named Nice Pool, portrayed as an overly woke male feminist, only to have that character meet a violent end at the hands of Lady Pool, a female character voiced by Blake Lively herself. Baldoni's suit asserts this was a transparent, warped portrayal meant to caricature him and ridicule his feminist public persona. Reynolds has not publicly commented on this, and many find the claim extraordinary. Baldoni's filings also accuse Lively of leaking her complaint to the press in advance, pointing out that the New York Times appeared to have access to her sealed civil rights complaint 11 days before it was published, implying collusion. The Times vigorously denied this as rife with inaccuracies, explaining that a December 10 date stamp seen online was just a quirk of Google's software, not proof of an early leak. With each leak and counter-leak, the once whispered feud had grown into a hydra-headed saga of lawsuits, leaked emails, videos, audio recordings, and sensational claims, all playing out under the glare of worldwide media attention.
He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, "Okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it. I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully." That Justin Baldoni, ultimately, by the time they got to the premiere, was mandated by Blake Lively to spend the night in the basement away from his co-stars and didn't even get to see the final cut of his own movie because Blake Lively insisted that she be the one to approve it.
As the Lively-Baldoni conflict captivated Hollywood watchers, veteran journalist Megyn Kelly entered the story, positioning herself as a truth-teller dissecting Lively's claims. On her SiriusXM show and podcast, Kelly delivered an unsparing critique of Blake Lively that she framed as a much-needed reality check. Citing the emerging evidence, Kelly declared she fully disbelieves Lively's account of being victimized. One flashpoint was Lively's reaction to the leaked on-set video. Lively had reportedly dismissed the video as a nothing burger, implying it was innocuous and proved nothing. That phrase set Kelly off. On a late January episode, Kelly blasted Lively's habit of time and time again, accusing Baldoni of misconduct only for context to reveal an absolute nothing burger. Kelly ridiculed Lively's Me Too victim posture as absurd, calling the actress not an honest broker, and likening her to a Hollywood fabulist. By mid-February, February, Kelly doubled down on her scathing assessment of Lively, even drawing parallels to the infamous Amber Heard. "She appears like an Amber Heard to me," Kelly said, arguing that Lively had started a fight she cannot win and absolutely ruined her brand through this legal war. On Kelly's program, she pulled up receipts to expose what she saw as Lively's true nature. One piece of evidence was Lively's own candid confession at a 2022 Forbes Women's Summit. In that interview, Lively admitted she often takes acting jobs only to later insist on having creative control, authorship, to feel fulfilled. Kelly seized on this, branding Lively a serial fraudster, someone who pretends you'll do the thing they hired you for, but all along you have secret plans to do something very different, above your pay grade. In Kelly's view, It Ends With Us was the perfect example. Lively allegedly signed on as an actress, but then bullied a less established director, Baldoni, into ceding control.
Dear Judge Lyman, as counsel for Wayfarer Studios LLC, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, It Ends With Us Movie LLC, Melissa Nathan, the Agency Group PR LLC, and Jennifer Abel, collectively the Wayfarer parties, we write to advise the court of an issue that the Wayfarer parties wish to address at the upcoming conference on Monday, February 3rd, 2025.
Even getting her own cut of the film released at the expense of his Kelly, asserted that every allegation Lively made had been undermined by hard evidence, pointing to Baldoni's trove of text messages and other proof that cast Lively's horrific allegations in a very different light. With her trademark biting commentary, Kelly essentially sided with Baldoni, painting Lively as a manipulator whose 2 minutes of bad publicity were nobody's fault but her own. This public takedown by a high-profile media figure added even more drama and controversy to the saga. Notably, Kelly has a personal connection. Baldoni's attorney Brian Friedman is also Kelly's lawyer, and he provided Kelly's show with the leaked video evidence Kelly disclosed she has known Baldoni socially, calling him a lovely guy, even as she insisted her conclusions are based on facts. By casting doubt on Lively's credibility so bluntly, Megyn Kelly became a loudspeaker for the backlash against Lively, reinforcing how far the actress's once gleaming reputation had fallen in some eyes. As this real-life Hollywood drama plays out, both stars have suffered significant reputational damage, and the rifts are extending beyond the courtroom. What began as a private dispute over on-set behavior has spiraled into a very public PR war, with each salvo dissected by the media, fellow celebrities, and fans. Lively, once celebrated as a down-to-earth golden girl of Hollywood, now finds herself compared, unfavorably, to Amber Heard and accused of being calculating in her career move.
And I think that the Justin and Blake stuff is, I think it's a big PR game, and I think that we're all the pawns of it. And also that story I gave you, that's one where I've talked to them. I feel comfortable sharing that much. Like, good luck. There's so many different groups out there.
The legal saga has threatened to tarnish her standing. She's now entangled in multiple lawsuits, not just with Baldoni, but also a Texas-based crisis publicist named Jed Wallace, whom she had accused of running the smear campaign. In early February, Wallace sued Lively for defamation, seeking $7 million in damages and claiming her team had no facts to support dragging his name into her complaint. Lively's attorneys shrugged off that suit as transparent retaliation meant to intimidate her for speaking out. Still, the sheer volume of litigation and sensational headlines surrounding Lively could make studios wary. Baldoni, on the other hand, saw his professional momentum stalled by the scandal. Being dropped by WME, one of Hollywood's top agencies, was a major setback to his rising career. He also faces his own battles. His former publicist has sued him for breach of contract amid the chaos, and he remains under the shadow of very serious H accusations, which, true or not, carry a stigma. Even as some commentators sympathize with Baldoni, his reputation has been bruised. Major outlets note that Lively's initial claims devastated him in the public eye. The actor-director has had to spend more time fighting lawsuits and clearing his name than celebrating his film. Both Lively and Baldoni have potentially lost professional opportunities due to this feud. The promotional campaign for It Ends With Us was eclipsed by their clash, and what should have been a triumphant box office moment turned into a legal quagmire. There's even talk that Lively's and Reynolds' involvement in poking fun at Baldoni, allegedly via Deadpool, could strain Hollywood relationships. In the midst of it all, a federal judge has put the warring parties on notice: tone down the public attacks or face an expedited trial. At a February 3 pretrial hearing, Judge Louis J. Lyman scolded both sides for their aggressive media tactics and reminded the lawyers that he can move the trial date, set for March 9th, 2026, up much sooner if the case continues to be litigated in the press. He invoked New York's rules against prejudicial out-of-court statements, essentially ordering a ceasefire on the public mudslinging. The judge warned that all the leaked evidence and commentary has given the public plenty to feast upon.
Was what Blake says, a conversation that she heard had taken place with Steve Sarowitz. Steve Sarowitz is the head of Wayfair Studios. He is the co-founder of Wayfair Studios, along with Justin. And she says in this lawsuit that, and is it interesting? She says, this is what I heard, he said, but it's presented as a quote in the lawsuit. She says that Steve said, "I will protect the studio like Israel protected itself from Hamas."
And any further tainting of the jury pool could force the court to act. As of now, neither Lively nor Baldoni has spoken publicly outside of legal filings and statements through attorneys, a sign that the Hollywood spectacle of their feud might finally quiet down as it heads toward a courtroom resolution. What began as a promising film collaboration has devolved into a cautionary tale of Hollywood ego, betrayal, and backlash. In this high-stakes showdown, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni have each seen their public images tested like never before. The legal battle, replete with authentic court documents, leaked emails and videos, and headline-grabbing claims, has unfolded with all the twists of a movie thriller, except the consequences are very real. Endorsements and deals can vanish in the face of bad press, and careers built over decades can teeter when trust is broken. Lively, once universally beloved, now fights to prove she's a victim, not a villain. Baldoni, eager to vindicate himself, risks being defined by these allegations. And as Megyn Kelly's dramatic expose illustrated, once the Hollywood hype machine turns on you, rehabilitation can be an uphill battle. The saga of Lively versus Baldoni underscores the power of factual evidence in the court of public opinion, from emails and voice notes to investigative journalism, but also the power of perception. With a trial on the horizon and both stars' reputations on the line, Tinseltown is watching closely to see whether justice or reputation wins out in the end. One thing is certain, in this Hollywood drama, no one is coming out unscathed, and the final act has yet to be written.